Hello, bright and beautiful beings. Welcome to my AstroloTea party, my weekly sacred space where I am so honored and blessed to be able to speak to you about the current astrological forecast, the celestial energies that are present according to my Western astrological practice. So I'm so glad that you're here. Take a seat, relax, breathe deep, let your shoulders just fall and surrender to the flow of cosmic channeling. My messages are always meant to empower you, and I am always holding space for my empowerment and your empowerment, and therefore my healing and your healing and the healing of the collective, right? But I also got a nice hot cup of tea here to sip, ready to discuss Sagittarius season, because our sun, our solar energy, is now entering and passing through Sagittarius energy. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, I will always, when I give these horoscopes, I will speak in a geocentric perspective, right? So I'm simply reading the energies from our perspective, our humble and sacred perspective here on Earth. And so we watch as the sun goes through his beautiful cycles. Now he is entering the space of Sagittarius. What does this mean? Sagittarius is a fire sign. Sagittarius energy is divine masculine in essence, but I always say that with every zodiac sign there is a balance, right? There is an input and an output, a divine yin and yang quality, a balance. That's especially true with Libra, but with Sagittarius and all the other signs, it is the same. So with Sagittarius, there's this sense of, and you can see right here, the archer, right? Sometimes depicted as a centaur, not to be confused with Chiron, who also sometimes is depicted as a centaur. So anyway, there is that balance between beast and man a little bit, right? But also between fighter and sage. Sagittarius is the archer and always has this bow and arrow energy, this ability to quickly, decide to aim and shoot. Sagittarius, in essence, and I'm speaking of the energy here, although shout out to all my Sagittarius sons and anyone else who has Sagittarius placements, because these energies are a huge, juicy, gemmy opportunity for you right now. So I'm very blessed to have you here as well. But I speak of the energy, which can be expressed in all kinds of ways, even in people who don't necessarily have Sagittarius in their chart. But they have that teacher and student essence, as well as the fighter and the sage, or the hermit even a little bit, right? Just this very deeply spiritually surrendering person, this quiet, reverent person who knows when to pray, but also who is fully capable of stepping up to the plate and, shooting and getting it done. I say shooting just because I mean, the bow and arrow. But we have this opportunity right now to be that harmony, to embody the balance between being, an offensive player, if you will, and being a defensive player, or to not even be a player at all, right? And to just sort of let everything lie, to just be, surrender. Because Sagittarius is also the balance between knowledge and wisdom. And for me, knowledge is something that you can study. Knowledge is, sciences. It's a bit more based on, in my opinion, our constructs and our experience. Whereas wisdom, which can be generated by, life experience and the beautiful and traumatic things that we go through in this life, wisdom is innate. You don't necessarily have to have a specific kind of experience to have the wisdom of gods, essentially, if I may say so, the wisdom of spirit, the wisdom of angels, whatever you want to call it. It is this sort of meta wisdom, this meta knowledge. Knowledge is very much this world. Wisdom, to me at least, is beyond. And so right now, it's a huge opportunity. Sagittarius energy, especially as Mercury and Venus follow our solar energy through Sagittarius, are saying, hey, look at this spark, look at this creative essence that is in everything. life and death are almost one and the same, which we sort of explored in Scorpio season. That's the transformative power of Scorpio energy. But in Sagittarius, you take all that transformation and you make sense of it. And even if you don't know how to make sense of it, again, that wisdom is generated organically. Just by allowing yourself to have felt those deep and juicy emotions in Scorpio energy, once you move forward, and I speak of this generally, everyone's experience is different, but the journey through the zodiac, once you move into Sagittarius energy, you are making sense of your traumas. You have processed your experiences and have almost sort of detached from them. You're like, okay, yes, this is the experience, and this is the knowledge I have gained from this experience. But my wisdom and my true self are so far beyond both of these. These are just tools for me in this life. And I'm going to go exploring and use these tools and learn more. And the cycle continues. And that's Sagittarius energy. And especially right now, we are being called to see that, one, what is true for us now is not necessarily what's going to be true for us in a year or from now or more. And what's true for us now is not necessarily what's true for someone else right now. And that's a really hard thing to face. And we have been very tugged apart lately. Society and media love to just polarize us. But I believe that Sagittarius energy with our sun right now is calling us to depolarize, to harmonize. And Scorpio was saying the same thing. But Sagittarius is holding this torch, right? It's that fire energy, that mutable fire of, yes, I know when to destroy, but I also know when to create. It's sort of that phoenix rising from the ashes a little bit. And it's so beautiful and sacred. And I'm so grateful that you are here to be a part of it, and that I am here as well, and that we are all in this together. That's basically the message that I'm channeling right now, and that Sagittarius knows. And it's funny because in pop culture, Sagittarius is very much a flighty-ish, kind of sign. It's very much like detached from people. But just because they're detached in essence doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have connections. You can be detached and have connections. There is a difference. And I will talk about that probably in a different video, but it's just something to consider. This very Sagittarian essence of knowledge and wisdom and processing all of that, and how wisdom happens even before you have any kind of experience. I mean, a baby can be the wisest little creature, right? You look into their eyes and they've seen so much, and yet they haven't, not at least in this body, right? So tap back into your soul, my lovelies. I will always say this, but just, let yourself process, let yourself feel, and really truly remember that it is not your job to persuade anyone to believe your same beliefs, nor is it anyone else's job to try and force you to feel a certain way about your beliefs. Get intimate, get comfortable with your values, especially as Venus, like I said, will be following the sun through Sagittarius. And there will be more tea to spill soon enough, so stay tuned. And I am so grateful that you were born and that you're here watching this. Have a lovely week.